you roll your eyes at me, mister?
Last week's episode of South Park got canceled, and honestly, I thought Trey and Matt were done pushing limits. But this week, yeah, they went nuclear. They didn't just joke about politics, they detonated it. From Trump's chaos to Netanyahu's madness, this episode might be the most dangerous thing South Park's ever aired. So here's the deal. The delay wasn't random. Something was brewing behind the scenes, and now it's clear why. This new episode feels like the one Trey and Matt had to fight to release. Every frame screams, "You're not supposed to air this," and that's exactly why it's their best work in years. The moment it starts, you can tell they're done playing it safe. They went straight for the most dangerous topic of all. And even I have to be careful just talking about it here. It opens with a callback to the canceled episode, like South Park literally winking at the audience saying, "Yeah, we got censored, and we're gonna make fun of that too." And wow, they delivered. The episode opens with classic South Park energy. The boys are arguing over whether the guest speaker is a boy or a girl. Totally dumb, totally perfect. Then suddenly, it turns into a whole thing about prediction market apps. Basically, gambling disguised as tech innovation. And the way they tackled it? Brutal. You've got people betting on everything, from sports to politics to the number of tweets Elon Musk will make in a day. It's the perfect snapshot of how our generation turned real life into content. But this time, South Park doesn't just make fun of it. They use it to launch something way bigger. Because when Cartman scrolls through those bets, he stumbles on one that crosses the line. Will Kyle's mom strike Gaza and destroy a Palestinian hospital? Yeah, that's when everything explodes. Kyle completely loses it. And honestly, who wouldn't? He calls the company trying to get it taken down, insisting it's anti-Semitic. But of course, he ends up stuck in that endless loop of fake customer support. You know the one. Press 1 for disappointment, press 2 to lose your faith in humanity. He's tossed around between departments, talking to one advisor after another, and the funniest part, they're all the same guy. And yes, that guy turns out to be Donald Trump Jr., because apparently now everyone's a political strategist if they've got a LinkedIn account and daddy's last name. And that's when the episode really kicks into gear. We meet Brandon Carr, the head of the FCC, who spends the entire episode getting absolutely wrecked. Trey and Matt basically turned him into the villain from Home Alone, walking straight into every trap Trump sets for him. It's slapstick, but it's savage. Then comes Trump himself. And this version of Trump? Oh man, it's perfect. He's paranoid, erratic, and trying to dodge every ounce of responsibility possible. The guy's literally running around the White House panicking because Satan is pregnant with his baby. I'm not even kidding. It sounds insane. But that's South Park. They take the ridiculous, the taboo, the things everyone's scared to talk about, and make it funny and uncomfortable at the same time. That's their superpower. And honestly, after that delay last week, this felt like the episode they had to make. You can feel it, they're done holding back. Right after that, the episode flips gears and dives into one of the most uncomfortable yet hilarious parts of the story, Trump's attack on free speech. Yeah, you heard that right. The guy who's been screaming about being silenced suddenly becomes the one trying to shut everyone else up. The setup is genius. Brandon Carr, the FCC head, ends up in the hospital after a chain of ridiculous accidents at the White House. Basically, South Park's way of showing how Trump's own policies are coming back to bite his own people. At one point, Carr's literally stuck mid-Roman salute while the doctors are panicking about a parasite possibly messing with his brain and threatening his freedom of speech. It's so on the nose, but that's what makes it great, and that's when it hits you. This isn't just random slapstick. It's a direct commentary on what's been happening in real life. Remember the whole Jimmy Kimmel situation? Yeah, that's what they're referencing here. The guy who's been shouting about censorship suddenly wants everyone else to shut up. It's painfully accurate and painfully funny. You can agree, disagree, or think it's tasteless. But the message stands. Once the people in power start deciding what counts as hate speech, Everyone's speech is in danger. Because if they can censor the other side today, they can censor you tomorrow. And that's exactly what Trey and Matt are mocking. The hypocrisy of both sides screaming about freedom while trying to silence each other. It's that typical South Park logic where everyone's the clown and no one's safe. They don't take sides. They torch the whole stage. And the way they do it? Through chaos that somehow feels way too real. Meanwhile, Trump's entire subplot keeps getting more insane. The man is desperate to solve his little pregnancy problem. He's sitting in the White House, brainstorming the most unhinged ways to get rid of the baby. As if that's just another policy meeting. There's this moment where he invites Satan out for a cigarette by the pool, hoping a little accident might take care of things. When that doesn't work, he goes full Looney Tunes, trying to push Satan down the stairs like it's a cartoon. Still nothing. Then he gets creative. He starts cooking soup laced with Plan B pills, like Chef. And just when you think it can't get darker, he turns to cats. That's when you realize this isn't just a bit about Trump being ridiculous. It's a full-blown metaphor for the lengths people will go to avoid responsibility. Every scene with him is this exaggerated symbol of denial. Instead of owning up to his actions, he's literally trying to flush the consequences down the drain, or in this case, down a cat box. And yeah, it's gross. But it's South Park. That's the point. They're not showing you this to make you laugh at Trump. They're showing you how absurd power looks when it refuses to face reality. Then we swing back to Cartman, who's been watching all this chaos unfold like it's free entertainment. He smells opportunity. And if you know Cartman, you know what comes next. He calls it a conflict of interest, but really, it's just a get-rich-quick scam. He starts spreading rumors that maybe Kyle's mom really will do something about that bet. Word spreads like wildfire. Suddenly, everyone in town is betting on her every move. Not because they care what she thinks, but because they want to cash in. And this is where the satire sharpens again. South Park is basically saying, this is how society treats serious issues now. Everything. Politics, war, human suffering, it's all just content and profit potential. Nobody's trying to understand anything. They just want to gamble on the chaos. Even Kyle's mom's friends start asking for her opinion, not out of concern, but to see where to put their money. And it's painfully accurate. That's how detached everything feels now. And in true Sheila fashion, she doesn't just roll her eyes or ignore it. Nope. She goes full Kyle's mom mode, grabs her bag, and literally flies to Israel to confront the source of the madness herself. And that's when the episode shifts from hilarious to dangerous. Sheila flying to Israel isn't just a plot twist. It's Trey and Matt throwing a grenade into one of the most controversial conversations in the world. And I'm not kidding when I say this part made even me nervous to talk about. Because South Park doesn't just mention Israel, they go straight for Benjamin Netanyahu himself. Yeah, that Netanyahu. The kind of move most writers wouldn't even think about. Because one wrong joke and you're trending for all the wrong reasons. But that's what makes it brilliant. The setup is simple. Sheila's tired. She's exhausted from being dragged into a political conversation she never asked to join. She's done being turned into a meme, a bet, or a symbol for something she doesn't even control. So she does what only Kyle's mom would do. She flies straight to the source. And that's where the satire really hits. It's not just a joke about Israel. It's about the insane pressure put on ordinary Jewish people around the world. The idea that no matter where they live, they're expected to take a side, have a stance, defend or denounce something happening halfway across the globe, just because of their identity. Trey and Matt didn't pull punches here. They flipped the entire conversation upside down. Instead of mocking one side or the other, they made the entire idea of forced loyalty look absurd. And they did it by putting Sheila, one of South Park's loudest, most over-the-top characters, in the middle of the world's most sensitive debate. The moment she steps off that plane, you can feel the tension. Every interaction, every line, it's layered with satire. She's not really confronting Netanyahu, the politician. She's confronting the concept of being expected to represent something you didn't choose. And the best part? South Park doesn't make her look like the hero or the villain. She's just human, overwhelmed, trying to do the right thing in a world where everything is instantly politicized, monetized, and weaponized. Then we finally meet Netanyahu, and the show treats him exactly how you'd expect. Untouchable, polished, larger than life. The kind of guy who could say anything and somehow still walk out of it clean. It's bold, it's risky, and it's very South Park. They make it clear that criticizing him isn't about politics. It's about power, about how hard it is to question authority when even mild disagreement gets you labeled as something extreme. And that's where Trey and Matt prove again that they understand how to thread the impossible needle, being funny without backing down from what matters. You can tell this scene was written with absolute precision. They knew exactly how far to go, when to pull back, and when to let the silence say more than the punchline. It's the kind of writing that reminds you, these guys have been doing this for decades and they're still fearless. And yeah, it's uncomfortable. It's supposed to be. That's the point. They're making everyone squirm, right, left, center, because the second you pick a side, you're part of the problem they're mocking. It's one of those episodes where you realize why South Park has survived this long. They don't care about being liked. They care about being honest. And in a time where most shows are walking on eggshells, Trey and Matt are out here juggling grenades. By the time this segment ends, you're not even sure whether to laugh or stare at the screen in disbelief. But that's exactly why it works. They went straight for the untouchable topic and somehow made it entertaining, thought-provoking, and deeply uncomfortable all at once. And just when you think the episode can't possibly go any further, J.D. Vance shows up. And if you've been paying attention to South Park lately, you know whenever a new political face enters the picture, things are about to spiral into total madness. We see him talking to Brandon Carr in this dark, tense scene, and it honestly feels straight out of a political thriller. And that dialogue is not just random dialogue. That's Trey and Matt teasing something much bigger. Now, if you've been following the season, you'll remember the mysterious box from the earlier episodes. The one Satan wouldn't open because it contained something too dangerous for the world to handle. Turns out, that box and this pregnancy storyline are connected. And once you realize that, everything suddenly gets a lot darker and a lot smarter. The writers are basically saying, hey, you thought this was just about Trump being ridiculous? Think again. This whole baby plot is turning into a full-blown political conspiracy. It's no longer about satire. It's about power, legacy, and what people are willing to destroy just to protect their image. And I have to say, this is the first time in a while that a South Park episode has felt this cinematic. You can feel the setup for something huge. The lighting, the music, the pacing. It's not just funny anymore. It's unsettling in that perfect South Park way where you're laughing one second and questioning reality the next. Then there's the theory moment. You can tell the creators are leaving breadcrumbs on purpose. J.D. Vance's warning about the baby isn't just some throwaway line. It's the spark for what could become the biggest storyline the show has ever done. Here's my take. That baby isn't what it seems. It's not really about a literal child. It's a symbol. A metaphor for something powerful, something that could completely shift the world inside South Park's universe. Whatever's growing inside Satan is tied to information, influence, and maybe even control. Think about it. The way Trump keeps trying to get rid of it, not out of fear, but desperation, says a lot. It's like he knows this thing, whatever it is, could ruin him. And J.D. Vance's urgency makes it clear. This isn't just a weird subplot, it's the central mystery. It reminds me of early South Park seasons when they'd set up something absurd and then slowly connect it to a massive, world-shaking reveal. That's what's happening here. The writers are planting seeds for something way bigger, and you can feel it building. Now, I'm not going full conspiracy mode here, okay? Maybe just a little. But I honestly think this baby storyline could turn into one of the wildest political arcs the show has ever done. Because if my theory's right, that child isn't a person. It's a problem, a symbol of everything Trump's been trying to hide. And the way the episode ends, it's the perfect cliffhanger. J.D. Vance walks away like a man who knows more than he's letting on. And for a second, you realize South Park might actually be setting up its first long-term political arc in years. It's smart, it's eerie, and it's got that "I can't believe they went there" energy that only Trey and Matt can pull off. They've turned satire into suspense, and somehow it works. So yeah, that ending, J.D. Vance walking away like he just kicked off a secret operation while Trump's still panicking over cat poop and Satan's pregnancy, it's the perfect South Park mix of chaos and conspiracy. But under all the insanity, there's something way more calculated going on here. I think Trey and Matt are setting up a massive political arc, maybe the biggest one in South Park's history. They've always loved connecting small jokes to bigger storylines, but this time, it feels like they're building towards something darker, something that might tie every episode together by the finale. And that's what makes this episode so good. It's not just random chaos. Every gag, every scene, every insane detail, it all means something. It's satire with purpose. They're not just clowning on Trump or censorship or Israel or any one thing. They're clowning on us, the audience, the culture, the obsession with turning politics into entertainment. What's wild is that even with all that heavy subject matter, the episode never loses its sense of humor. You're laughing at the absurdity 1 second, then catching yourself thinking, wait, this is actually kind of real. And that's when you know South Park's in top form again. And honestly, it's refreshing to see them back in full power. The animation feels tighter, the writing sharper, and the timing? Perfect! That extra week they took to release this episode was totally worth it. You can feel the polish, the pacing, the confidence. It's the kind of episode that reminds you why South Park's been untouchable for over 2 decades. So yeah, my thoughts? This might honestly be one of the best episodes they've made in years. The way they blended absurd comedy with razor-sharp social commentary. That's classic Trey and Matt. And it leaves you wondering, what's next? Because if they're willing to go this far mid-season, I can only imagine what's coming in the finale. The baby storyline, J.D. Vance's threat, Trump's breakdown, it's all heading towards something big. If my theory's right, this isn't over. It's the setup for something way crazier, and I'll be here breaking it down when it happens. So, what did you guys think? Was this South Park's boldest move yet? Or are they just getting started? Drop your theories in the comments. I'm really curious to read what everyone caught that I didn't. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this breakdown, hit that like button, drop a comment, maybe subscribe if you haven't yet. But honestly, your time here means more than anything. I'll catch you in the next one.